Hey class, good morning. I hope you all had a nice weekend. In today's class, I just wanted to go over this week's agenda with you. All right, so as you all know, um, our schedule, or if you don't, our schedule is changing to a rotational schedule. So you want to make sure you look at that and see when you meet with each specific class to see if you meet on A days or B days. So I believe Monday and Wednesdays are A days, and Tuesday and Thursdays are B days, and Friday is like a flex day for any questions or extra help you need from your teachers. So this video that I'm making is for both of my digital art classes. So I believe that my period 1 class, we meet on A days, and my period 8 class, we meet on B days, so your assignments will be due at different times. So just try to follow along with how I go about assigning things when I create videos, so you're not getting confused. But last week you guys created sketches. I went through all your sketches. I tried to give you all feedback. I have to say that you all came up with really very cute ideas, very creative, and I can't wait to see like how they turn out, how the final images turn out. One thing I did notice in some images were that people were using images that are already exist, like maybe famous logos and things like that. I do not want to see I don't want to see you copy anything from the internet. All right, that would be considered plagiarism. So if you're taking a logo, a famous logo made by someone, and you're placing it into your design, that's not original. Even if you change the color of it, even if you've changed part of it, that's not original. You're still taking someone else's idea. So I need these to be as original as possible. So if you have something like that, or you're thinking of something like that, please try to adjust it to make it as original as possible. The only thing that I said that you could include in your image would be like a quote. So if you found a quote online that you wanted to use, I don't mind if you add that to your image, but not like an actual drawing of something or a graphic of something. All right. So all these images here that I showed you last week are original. These are designs that students came up with themselves, right? So you should think along this line of design. All right. My design, I said that I was going with the idea of a hummingbird, right? So these were my reference images for inspiration that I found. These were drawings that I created of those reference pictures. And now I want you to start working on your final image. All right, so depending on what you decide to create, whether it be a pillow, a shirt, a hat, a bag, etc., you need to try and take your design and figure out how you're going to place that on the product. So when you go to Zazzle, okay, I started to kind of play around with this a little bit. Once you find your design, you can play around with it. Notice that it tells you the size of the object below. So it says about this product. All right, so this product is 16 by 16 inches. All right, so if you're working in Photoshop on this or Illustrator, you're going to want to make sure that you make your image 16 by 16 inches. So I go to File, New, make sure that it's 16 by 16. Mine isn't. Mine's 8 by 8, but it's at least in proportion to. And it could be 120 or more resolution. 120 or 300 is usually a good set to be at, so that when you start creating your design, it's laid out within the format that you're looking for, which would be, the 16 by 16 inch pillow, right? If you're working on paper, which I did, I would just make sure that it's in proportion, right? So if you're creating a pillow that's 16 by 16 inches and it's square, that when you're sketching out your idea, your final image on paper, that you're sketching it out on a square, in a square format, right? So my image I did on a piece of paper that was 8.5 by 11. So my paper, what I did was measured out 8 by 8 and then drew my bird onto that, right? So that no matter what, when I bring it into Zazzle, place it on the image, it will be in proportion to and fit that space the way that it should. So my original design kind of looked like this, right? So I could here are my thoughts, all right? So some of you don't have Photoshop or Illustrator, which is fine. So what you could do is just take a really good picture of your drawing and just make sure that you bring it onto email to yourself or send it to yourself, airdrop it, and save it, and then go from there, right? But if you're working in Photoshop, or maybe you're doing mixed medium, meaning maybe you're using a little bit of both, like I might, like I drew my bird and I'm going to add some other stuff to it, you could save the file and bring it into Photoshop just like I did. All right, so I was kind of playing around with making it black and white using my color correction tools, maybe adding, making it brighter. I took this watercolor splash that I found online, and you can do stuff like this. So like I was thinking maybe I would add some images digitally, like maybe add some watercolor splashes, maybe add some text to the background, maybe draw some other stuff and bring it in, create some sort of a overlapping collage, kind of like the digital collage that we did in the beginning of the year. And those were kind of like my thoughts. But then I was also thinking, you know what, I also really like the bird. I could keep the bird just like this. I was thinking of maybe traditionally painting it with watercolor. All right, so these were my thoughts about where I wanted to go with this sketch that I created. And this is where I want you to be this week. All right, so we meet twice this week. So whether you're in period 1 or period 8, we meet twice, not including that flex day. So for day 1 of this week that we meet, I would like to see 50% of your final image complete. All right. So you have your idea, you're starting your final image, 50% of it is complete. So if I meet with you Monday or Tuesday, just know that 50% of your image needs to be completed. That would, for me, would be this. All right, I did this drawing of this bird. I know I want it on this pillow, but I'm not sure how I want to go about it now. If I'm going to do stuff to it digitally, if I'm going to traditionally add paint to it and do watercolor with it. And I'm going to show you both ways. So because some of you might be working traditionally with traditional materials, and some of you might work digitally. And then for the second day that we meet this week, I want to see 90% or more of your final image complete. Okay, so I'll make another video showing you 90% or more of my image complete. So that would be by Wednesday or Thursday, depending on when we meet. So that's what I need to do now. I need to figure out what I'm going to do with this, right? So by next class period, I'll show you 90% or more of my image complete. This way that next week when we meet, I can give you some really good feedback, and then we can take it to the product, right? How it would look on the product. And I can show you how to do this. It's pretty easy. You can just edit it, add your designs, right? And then it will show you an example of what it looks like. It might actually show you the front and the back. Sometimes it shows you the sides of images, so it's kind of fun. Also know that I'm going to start, and I'm going to post this in Google Classroom too, Zoom sessions. So if we meet on Monday and Wednesdays, or if we meet on Tuesday and Thursdays during that class period. So for example, on Monday and Wednesdays, I meet with period 1 at 10 o'clock. All right, so at 10 o'clock, I'm going to invite period 1, and I'll do this to period 8 as well, to a Zoom session. It's optional. You do not have to come. It's really for quick questions that you might have about the assignment. So I'll keep my Zoom session open, invite all of you, and it might be nice just to catch up even within students within the class, your peers and friends, just to say hi to and talk a little bit about the project and so forth. So that's going to start happening as well. All right. Also make sure that every day that we meet, so if we meet on Monday and Wednesdays, like period 1, that you show me some sort of progress, or you comment, letting me know that you've finished 90% or more of your image. But you need to comment or post progress every day that we meet, because you need to look at that like class credit, meaning like you came to class, you showed to my class. If you don't do that, it's as if you're not showing to my class and you're cutting my class. So if you're looking at your weekly do nows, or that I've been posting online, that's me keeping track of your progress, showing me that you are working in my class on those days that we meet. So it's really important to communicate with me, so that I can check you off for participating in my class period. So just kind of keep that in mind too. All right, if you have any questions, like I said, I'll have Zoom open, and you can also comment. I know we've been commenting in Google Classroom, and that's been working great too. And that's it. All right, have a nice day.